In the year 2009, a young aspiring singer started posting videos right here on YouTube, singing some of the most popular songs.
Hey guys, I'm going to be singing Hallelujah by Jeff Buckley, and I hope you like it. I heard there was a secret chord they were playing and it pleased the Lord. We are here, there's nothing I fear, and I know that my heart will go on. So hello from the other side. Oh, your kisses, sweeter than honey. All I'm asking, oh, so is my money. And all I want you to do for me is give it to me when you can. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh, ooh. R-E-S-P-C-T, find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-C-T, take it, oh, little respect.
By 2011, she had reached more than 1 million subscribers on her YouTube channel and was working on releasing a debut album to the world. But just 5 years later, as her music career was just about to skyrocket to all new heights again, a guy who thought he was in love with her drove to one of her concerts and shot and killed her as she signed autographs after her performance. For this story today, we are still in Orlando, Florida, and I'm going to be telling the story of what happened to the absolutely talented Christina Grimmie. Real quick, just a little bit of Christina's backstory before all these events took place. Shortly after Christina started posting those covers of popular songs here on YouTube in 2009, she had several of what we call now viral videos with covers of Miley Cyrus' Party in the USA,
My hands up and play my song and the butterflies fly away. Nodding my head like yeah, moving my hips like yeah.
and Just a Dream by Nelly.
You made a decision that you wanted to move on, 'cause I was wrong.
That cover of Just a Dream to date has more than 200 million views and is known all over. In 2011, Christina Grimmie was noticed by Disney Channel star Selena Gomez. Very quickly, they became friends, and Christina almost immediately went on tour with Selena Gomez and The Scene as a backup singer for Selena's We Own the Night tour. With Selena Gomez's notoriety helping Christina, things started opening up for her. She had an appearance on the Ellen DeGeneres Show. She had an appearance on the 2011 American Music Awards. She was in a commercial for Xbox Connect and Doritos, and she had a performance on Disney Channel's show So Random.
Give it up for Christina Grimmie! Don't look down, 'cause it's easy you're falling from force. Just let it.
In 2014, Christina Grimmie auditioned for season 6 of The Voice on NBC. During her blind audition, Christina received 4 chair turns from all 4 judges, and they were blown away.
I never meant to start a war, just wanted you to let me in. I guess I should've let you win.
She stayed at the top of the list throughout the entire season, but by the season's finale, Christina finished 3rd, which led to the judges saying out loud that they could not believe she didn't win. The season 6 winner that year was Josh Kaufman, and I can only imagine how he felt. The judges openly saying that Christina Grimmie should have won that year, but they were flabbergasted that Christina didn't win. They couldn't believe it. Both Adam Levine and Lil Wayne vocally declared that they would sign Christina to their record label, and almost immediately Christina signed with Island Records. Christina Grimmie then released an album titled Side A. She made a cameo in the movie Matchbreakers, and she set out on a tour across the country with a band called Before You Exit. On June 10th of 2016, Christina Grimmie had a concert scheduled right here at the Plaza Live in Orlando. Earlier in the day, she had posted to social media letting all of her fans know about the concert and that she was going to be signing autographs, and she was having a meet and greet afterwards.
We're in Orlando today. Please come to the show if you live near Orlando, Florida.
You guys are awesome! Oh my goodness! So I just recently came out with a brand new EP. And I want to sing you a song from it, one of my favorites. So if you guys happen to know it, which this group of young ladies might, please sing along. This is called Without Him. Thank you, I love you too. Hey, yeah. Right from the start, you lured me in, took me to places I never been. There it is. I think I'm loved. I think I'm loved. You might have bent me, but I didn't break. You rearranged the map I made, but I think I'm in love. I think I'm in love.
Her set ended around 10 p.m. and she immediately rushed off stage and ran over to her merchandise tables to start signing autographs. At about 10:24 p.m., gunshots rang out through the building here, and when the chaos had finally cleared, Christina Grimmie had been shot twice in the chest and once in her head.
That just made my night. I hope you know that. Thank you. You're not signing posters?
Yeah, we can do posters. Oh, just Christina posters.
911 was quickly called here to the scene, and paramedics did everything they could to save her. Less than 30 minutes after the shots were fired, Christina Victoria Grimmie was pronounced dead at Orlando Regional Medical Center. While Christina was still laying on the floor inside of the Plaza Live near her merchandise table, the Orlando Police Department were already on the scene and they were trying to put all the pieces together. It turns out that Christina was at her merch table signing autographs, selling t-shirts, and taking selfies with fans when one particular fan walked up and asked for a hug. Christina, being a people person, she was happy to give a hug to one of her fans. So she stood up from the table and she stuck her arms out and took a step forward as she leaned in to give this hug. And it was then that 27-year-old Kevin Lobel pulled a Glock pistol from his waistband and opened fire, firing 3 shots. It just so happened that the night that all this went down, Christina's brother was behind her merchandise table selling t-shirts as he normally does. And he saw what was going on. He saw Lobel shoot his sister. So he jumps into action and he leaps over the table, tackles Lobel to the ground. Both of them scuffled for a minute, and Lobel was able to break free. But Christina's brother was not going to let this guy get away. He had just shot his sister right in front of him. So he chases him and winds up backing Lobel up against the wall with nowhere to go. And Lobel, knowing that he had nowhere to go, made an instant decision to take the coward's way out. He shot himself in the head at point blank, killing himself instantly.
It's going to be 2 patients. The
female patient and the shooter.
In Kevin Lobel's pockets, police found 4 extra ammo clips, his ticket into the Plaza Live, and a hotel room key to the Courtyard Marriott. They went to the Courtyard Marriott and they found all of his personal belongings and did some further investigating. And it led police to determine that Kevin Lobel had driven all the way up to Orlando from St. Petersburg. And he did it just to shoot Christina. He intended to leave the venue and return home with hopefully no one knowing that he had done it. The Orlando police also discovered that Kevin Lobel lived like a hermit. And they discovered that he had an unhealthy obsession with Christina Grimmie that had openly been discussed at his job or his place of employment. His fellow co-workers said they never believed he would have done anything like this, but that he lived, breathed, and slept everything Christina Grimmie, to the point that his bosses at his job had to sit him down and talk to him at one point and straight up told him that his obsession with Christina Grimmie was not normal. It was weird. The Orlando PD have never officially announced a motive for Kevin Lobel killing Christina Grimmie, but they do say that they believe that he tried to email or message Christina through social media numerous times. He was seeking a romantic relationship with her, but Christina, being somewhat famous, she probably never saw his messages. They probably went into a folder where she never saw them, and because she didn't see them to respond to him, Kevin Lobel felt rejected. And the police say pretty much it was one of those if he can't have her, no one can kind of things. So he goes out and purchases the firearms legally and then drove from St. Pete all the way up to Orlando, the entire time knowing that he was going to shoot and kill Christina Grimmie. He knew the entire time that she was going to die. It's absolutely horrible. The Plaza Live was heavily scrutinized after it was over because that night they did not check for weapons and stuff at the door. They didn't have any metal detectors. There was none of that. They were more worried about people bringing in outside food and drinks than they were people bringing in guns and knives.
Oh yeah, for sure. I wouldn't go back here unless there was any metal detectors or anything like that.
You wouldn't feel safe coming back unless
I
those
wouldn't.
security measures are much stronger.
Exactly.
The Plaza Live was also judged heavily because they reopened just 4 days after Christina's death. Granted, that very first night they opened, it was a tribute to Christina, but people weren't happy that they opened so soon after her death. Now, once the news broke of Christina Grimmie's murder, the nation was shocked. Christina was loved by so many people, and everyone thought of her as a sweet and wholesome, down-to-earth person who wouldn't hurt anyone and who everyone loved. And no one out there could fathom who would do this to her. Tons of the most popular artists took to social media and to their music and to TV to express their sadness and disdain for what had happened to her. Adam Levine, Justin Bieber, Blake Shelton, Sabrina Carpenter, Dove Cameron, Demi Lovato, 21 Pilots, Charlie Puth, and even Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube. They all paid tribute to Christina Grimmie in their own way, with Justin Bieber breaking down in the middle of a performance.
You give me power. Every day you give me progress in every way. Oh, you are my everything.
Christina Grimmie's longtime friend, Selena Gomez, she was actually having her own concert in Orlando that night, just 2.5 miles away from the Plaza Live at the Amway Center. Selena was informed of Christina's death after her performance that night, and it really tore her up. She was heartbroken. She had another concert scheduled the very next night in Miami, and she dedicated the entire concert to Christina Grimmie, and then canceled her meet and greet after the show, and she canceled the rest of her tour, citing fear and grief over what happened. It really hit Selena Gomez hard, as she had a real hard time dealing with the fact that one of her best friends had just gotten shot and killed.
One thing about Christina and her family is that she holds her faith so closely to her, and I don't really understand how this really happened, but I would like to dedicate this next song to her.
Kevin Lobel's family, they wrote a note out and stuck it to the front door, so when people came by or when news crews were out there reporting, it could be seen. But it basically just offered apologies and condolences for what their son had done, and at the bottom it said no other comments. They didn't want to speak on it other than to say they were sorry. And I mean, it was just a horrible time for the music industry and the world alike. Christina was one of the nicest people ever, and she definitely did not deserve to die. Christina's murder drew heavy media attention when it first happened, right away. But just 2 days after Christina's death, Omar Martin went into the Pulse nightclub here in Orlando and killed 49 people and wounded 53 others. The Pulse nightclub mass shooting, it drowned out all the news coverage on Christina. I mean, her death wasn't forgotten about, but Pulse was all that the news was talking about, and it just drowned out everything Christina Grimmie from that point. I have to say, I watched Christina Grimmie on The Voice. I was a fan of Christina Grimmie before she was murdered. I'm still a fan of Christina Grimmie. And making this video has been kind of heartbreaking, because I've been going back and watching all of her performances and getting the clips that I need to put into this video, and it's been really sad. It's really, really sad to know that there are some really seriously mentally challenged people out there who do stuff like this. And the same thing nearly happened to WWE's wrestler Sonya Deville in Florida here, not far from where we are here in Orlando. In fact, it's really sad, and that case is still going on, but making this video has been really sad, and I really feel bad for Christina's family. I really do. That is going to do it from here at the Plaza Live, and the story of the night Christina Grimmie was shot and killed here in Orlando. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you're new here, go down, hit that subscribe button, then hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a video. If you're wanting to help support the channel, look in the description box. There's links down there. Thank you all so much. I'll see you again tomorrow. Please stay safe and stay healthy. Much love to you all.